throw your arms across your eyes and scream, man. Scream for your life.
Alright everyone, it is day 6 of the Week of Kong. Today is a special day. Dylan, why is today a special day on the Week of Kong?
Today is a special day because we are watching 2 King Kong cartoon movies. Should be noted that we were going to do 3, but we could not get our hands on the Mighty Kong. Sad face. So instead, we will be jumping.
It's a sarcastic sad face, by the way. Nobody's really that sad.
So instead,
nobody listening to this has seen the Mighty Kong except me. I'm the only one in the world who's actually seen that movie multiple times.
I'm sure that there's probably somebody else listening to this who's seen it at one point or another, and they are either very sad or very relieved that we wound up skipping over it. But yeah, we just couldn't find it anywhere online to stream for free or even otherwise, so couldn't get a torrent of it. Don't even think there's a DVD for it anywhere.
That we had David do some research, and that is what he confirmed, is that there has never been a DVD or digital release, and that there's only been a VHS release. That's why there's no way to get it now. So one day, we'll do it in person together, and we'll do a commentary on it, because I have the VHS, or even if I can't find it, the VHS is available on Amazon, so we can get it and do it. And it's not that, apparently they have quite a few in stock, so it's not that expensive, so.
We could post that as an addendum sometime while we're waiting for the Skull Island Blu-ray to come out. But
because we are going to have to do a few kind of asides to this eventually, because we want to do the Mighty Joe Young movies, and there's a couple of elements of Kong's history that we have to still do that are detours to this that we should still do.
I'd love to do a separate series of commentaries if the people are into it, of Kong ripoffs, because by God, there's plenty of gold to be found there.
Yeah, we've watched some of those together, and there's definitely material to cover there. But these are all plans for another day. Today is about the animated Kongs, and there is quite a bit to say about Kong in animation, because there was, of course, the original 1966 King Kong cartoon by Rankin Bass, which was originally produced by Japan, and then Rankin Bass released it. And it was, in America and in Japan and all over the world, and it was very, very, very popular. It was also very, very, very bad, but it was also very, very, very popular. And it was pretty much your beginning of your Hanna-Barbera Godzilla type of thing, where it was a crew of people going around every week with a giant monster solving problems, and sometimes there was another giant monster to fight, and sometimes there wasn't.
Now, Bill, you've seen the Rankin Bass show, correct?
I've seen quite a bit of it, yeah.
I have not until now. I mean, I think I caught one episode of the 90s series when I was a kid, but for the most part, I don't fuck with animated Kong.
Fair enough.
So my question to you is the Rankin Bass show better or worse than the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla show?
Oh my God! It's definitely worse than the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla show. Yeah. Oh, by quite a margin. It's 10 years older. And that's very obvious.
Well, while we all love the Godzilla animated series from Hanna-Barbera, or the Godzilla Power Hour, if you prefer, I think we can all agree that it's not the greatest thing in the world.
No, but I would say that the King Kong show, as it was called, is worse.
The animation
isn't even necessarily worse. The voice acting is worse. The stories are nonsense. And it's horrible.
Gotcha.
The name of the island changes from episode to episode. Sometimes it's Skull Island, and sometimes it's Mondo Island.
But this movie that we're watching tonight is connected to the 90s series, correct?
Well, yeah, so I just wanted to walk us through the animated history of Kong. So then, of course, you had King Kong Escapes. We talked about that already. Then, in the 90s, you had 2 animated attempts at Kong. You had The Mighty Kong, which we talked about, which was Warner Brothers who had the rights to Kong, to the original 33 version, to Marion C. Cooper's original vision for King Kong. Were Godzilla 98 was really popular, at least for a hot minute, so why don't we use this to make an animated Kong movie for kids that we can put out on video and will make us some money on video rentals. So they put out this animated musical version of King Kong on the cheap with some lackluster fucking celebrities in it. They had Dudley Moore in it. There were a whole bunch of fucking B-list celebrities that were voices in it. It was an experience, and I really wish we could have done it for this, because it's a million times more interesting than Kong King of Atlantis or Kong Return to the Jungle, which are the two movies we're doing today. But it's definitely, I don't even know if it's worse than they are. It's just a million times more interesting. But it's a remake of 33, and these are obviously not. These are a spin-off of what the other attempt at Kong in the 90s was, which was... See, I don't know what company this was. I didn't do a lot of research, I'm sorry to say, because I'm basing this mostly on the fact that, this was the Kong cartoon that I grew up on when I was a kid. I saw this on Jetix all the time. I used to get up at 6:30 in the morning every morning to see this show, and I watched all of it that way on Jetix.
I used to do that when I was a kid with certain cartoons. I remember Saturday mornings watching fucking... The Jackie Chan adventures.
Yeah, same channel and same block of cartoons. They just had a whole bunch of stuff that was popular in the late 90s and early 2000s, and they played it. And Kong, the animated series, I should close my window. I'll close it in 1 second when you have a chance to vamp. But let me just finish this thought.
That period, like every movie that was popular had to have an animated series as well. Like you remember fucking Men in Black had a cartoon. Fucking remember the Mummy cartoon?
Yeah, I have a VHS of the first couple episodes of that. It's kind of amazing that it even exists, but it's bad.
Yeah.
The 90s Kong cartoon is definitely better than the Mummy. I will say. But it is a direct response to the 98 cartoon. It started in 99 and then went to 2001, I think. It lasted for quite a while. I think it actually has more episodes than the 98 cartoon does. And it also has, over 98, a more ongoing narrative and more of a concrete mythos. Like, the 98 cartoon is rather episodic. Like, there's really no running continuity with that show.
Let me ask you this about the cartoon. When talking about movies, you always compare them to Ghostbusters 2. So for the interest of cartoons, I want to ask you, is it better or worse than Extreme Ghostbusters?
Kong, the animated series?
Yes.
Yeah, it's better than Extreme Ghostbusters. I've only seen a little bit of the Extreme Ghostbusters. But what I've seen, I have not really liked that much.
Is it better than the real Ghostbusters?
No. Not by a long shot. But you can be the judge of that, since you've seen a little bit of both, or you will have by the end of this movie. So this movie is a spin-off, not a spin-off, it is a tie-in movie to a sequel, direct tie-in movie to the show. Or it's not a sequel because the show has an ending. I mean, it ends properly, and everything wraps up. And I think this would more likely take place during the show's run. Maybe not. Maybe not. Because Kong's mythos is like a different part of it is kind of wrapped up in the show, so maybe this is just more of the beginning of it. I don't know. We'll talk about it. So in the show,
based on your preamble, I'm sure it's not at all vague or confusing.
It is, yeah, surprisingly, actually. So so this show. Again, it's a direct response to 98, and like 98, it follows a sort of sequel direction to the story of King Kong, where it is a clone of the original King Kong, who has been mixed with human DNA and is raised by humans, and has some dealings with international terrorists, and ends up going all over the world trying to find these ancient primordial stones that will allow them to save the world from these evil elemental forces that are trying to destroy it, because Kong is the guardian of the earth from these evil primordial spirits. So it's very focused on like the native tribal stuff, and so is this movie. That's a lot of this movie we're going to watch tonight. But anyway, so I don't really know how much more preamble I have to get into outside of stuff that I can say during the course of the movies. But this movie is a sequel to the show, and it was put out in 2005 as a kind of as a cash in on King Kong 05, pretty much. And it was just because the people who had the rights to this show could make this. They still had the rights to make something that was in that show's continuity because they still had the rights to it. So it's a freak accident that it was able to be made. And it's one of those desperate grabs when somebody has like, you know, sort of a tangential tie-in to a franchise, you know? Like, oh, we have the rights to the cartoon version of that, so we're gonna make something when the big budget version comes out, you know?
Yeah. I kind of like when that happens, though, just because we get like multiple versions of shit coming out at the same time. It's always cool to see.
So you've never seen this, or the show?
And I remember when I was young seeing like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of the show. I do not remember them in any detail at all, though. So,
but you get the premise, right?
From what you've explained to me, yeah. So, but for the most, I'm pretty much coming into this fresh.
All right. So why don't we get into the movie then? Kong, King of Atlantis. So.
And one thing does bear mentioning. You're going to get 2 commentaries from us today on 2 different Kong cartoon movie thingies. Again, it was going to be 3, but we couldn't find the Mighty Kong. We will not be discussing the Netflix series. Neither of us are willing to subject ourselves to that again. If you want to know how we feel about that, go listen to the episode of DFOS in which we discussed it in painful detail with a special guest on that episode, Sid Part 2. I don't remember what the number was, but I'm sure you can find it.
I think.
I'm sure you can find it.
Totally. Definitely go back and listen to that. For our thoughts on that abysmal fucking train wreck, which is definitely the worst animated version of Kong. The worst.
Worse than the Mighty Kong?
Oh, no. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, it's not worse than the Mighty Kong, but it is worse than the Rankin Bass version. I would rather watch the Rankin Bass version because that's only like 10 minutes long each episode.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to an hour and a fucking half. So this is an hour and a couple minutes, so this isn't that bad. But I got this on DVD when I was a kid in 05 when King Kong, when Peter Jackson's King Kong came out, and it was a big deal to me. It was a big, like, oh my god, a new King Kong cartoon movie, that's so cool. So it was one of my favorite presents that year, so let's see if I enjoy it that much now, shall we?
If Brainiac Attack taught me anything, it's that doing sequel movies to long expired animated series can have mixed results. So let's...
Oh, there is one other thing I forgot to mention. And D, I told you this already, but this is crucial. So, the Mighty Kong is infamous because it was a musical animated version of King Kong. And it was like a really bad musical. Like the songs are terrible and nonsensical and just they make you want to rip your ears off. And you wouldn't think that the sequel movie to the 90s show would be a musical like the other Kong animated movie was. But because, you know, the show wasn't, it was a straight up action show like the 98 cartoon. It was not a musical, but this movie is also a musical.
Now, is it a musical in the way that, like... Is it a musical in,
They're
like,
not
the Disney
singing
world?
the songs in terms of, like, oh, we're all actually singing for a reason. No, they just break out into song and don't address it.
But is it like a Disney type thing where occasionally a song breaks out?
Yeah.
But there's, like, an actual story going on besides it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like a musical, but but it has music in it.
It's got musical moments that but they're so random. It's a normal action cartoon, and then all of a sudden it's just a musical. We'll see. So you can find this on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. You can just look up Kong, King of Atlantis, 2005. You'll be able to find it. So let's get into it then. D, are you at 000?
I am indeed.
All right. So press play. In 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so here we go. D, you're gonna have to turn your version down.
Yeah, I know.
So we have our intro here. This is the theme song for the cartoon over random shots of what we'll see in the movie later. So one thing I want to mention right up front, oh, there's the villain. Very intimidating, right?
She's a Cobra woman.
Yes. So she's the Queen of Atlantis, and Kong is her husband. We'll get there. So in this,
Why?
in the show, Kong's roar is very guttural, very gorilla sounding, and it's great. I love it. In this, they had a different voice actor do the Kong roar, and it literally just sounds like a dude growling at the fucking camera.
This is like 70s Godzilla.
It is very 70s Godzilla, ain't it? Hang on, I gotta turn my version. I'm sorry, guys. We're fucking around with our audio. But, wow, this is abrupt, ain't it? So, yeah, this is pretty much just an episode of the show with a slightly bigger budget, I guess.
So the animation style is consistent.
Yeah, definitely. See, do you hear the roar I'm talking about? Like the weird, like...
Yeah. So did he sound more like an actual, like, gorilla or whatever in the show itself?
Totally. Oh my god, they're using stock footage from later in the movie, too. Because there was just a shot where his eyes were glowing blue. So that's one thing I should mention. So as I said, Kong is a clone of the original King Kong, who's also mixed with human DNA, and the human DNA is of this boy named Jason, who's like his sort of human half-brother, who's also in this movie. And through incredible technology, they are able to merge via this genetic link that allows them to like merge together into this super fighting machine. And that was a shot from later in the movie where they're doing that, where their eyes, so when the eyes are glowing blue, that's when they're merged.
Mm-hmm. You know what I kind of wish could have happened, just looking at this? How cool would it have been to have gotten a crossover between this show and the 98 Godzilla cartoon?
Yeah, I always wanted that when I was a kid.
An animated KKVG, dude.
So, how do you think this looks so far? Does this look like a quality animated product to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's very of the era. It definitely looks like the 98 cartoon in the way that, like, the human faces are drawn so far.
The island is pretty accurate to Skull Island. There's all kinds of prehistoric life on it and everything.
Mm-hmm. And not just dinosaurs either. We just saw some mammoths.
Yep. So the idea is that oh shit, what's her name? I don't the shaman girl. She is having these visions that she knows Kong is having too, of an apocalypse that he's supposed to prevent, and he's scared that he's not going to be able to. So these bears are now a focal point.
The bears are gonna die. Is that the guy that's psychically linked to Kong?
Yep, that's him, and that's his best friend.
At least he's not a little blonde annoying shit.
Yep. Yeah, this is these are our main characters.
His friend looks like he should be in the Kong suit. Jesus.
Yeah, right. He's not fat. He's beefy. He's got giant muscles. Look at him.
I don't know, Bill. I think the compositing in this looks pretty bad.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not great animation. Oh, I forgot about that.
No. But, you know, a lot of these shows, again, whenever they did these, popular movie gets turned into a cartoon, which this wasn't even a movie at the time, Kong, when they did the 90s show. But they all had that sort of, like, that sort of animation style, you know? Like, the Men in Black cartoon kind of looked like this. The Mummy cartoon kind of looked like this.
They were a lot more... not the Mummy, but Men in Black is a lot more stylized than this is, though.
Yeah.
See, that roar is terrible.
The Jackie Chan adventures were kind of like this. I mean, they all kind of had that look to them. I've always been, you know, nowadays all your cartoons are stylized, most of them poorly. But at the time, you know, something like Batman TAS really stood out from the crowd.
This is not standing out from any crowds, is it?
No.
And it's not real, I guess it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be like that stock footage from the show.
I don't like the way Kong's neck is drawn,
Yeah, it's
and that
really thick.
he doesn't seem to have one. Like at
Yeah.
all. I get it. He's supposed to be gorilla-y, but I don't know. It would help if he had a neck to bend.
Yeah. I never liked the idea of Jason and Kong merging together because it always felt like Kong gets taken out of the driver's seat.
Well, if it was just a psychic link, maybe. But it seems like they actually just like did a fusion dance or some shit. Like what?
Yeah, what
like
did
if
you
they
think
played-
of the visual of that? The giant face floating into Kong's eyes.
I mean, that was fine. I just wish it was, like I said, if it was just a psychic link, like if they played it the way Gamera did in the 90s, I'd be fine with it, you know?
There we go. It's
Or
over.
even the psychic link between Mickey and Godzilla in the Heisei series.
It has more of a purpose in the show because what they're able to do with it that's kind of interesting is that Kong is able to do the same thing to Jason that Jason's able to do to him. Kong is able to go into Jason. And Jason can walk around with Kong inside of him and then release him when the time's right. Which is kind of cool. That's not necessary in this, though, because they don't go anywhere in civilization. So the idea is they live on the island because they like to live there, and they're all buddies and shit.
They ever do an episode where like their powers fucked up and they like switch bodies completely? Like that'd be interesting.
I don't think so. They've gotten stuck both ways, though.
Wasted potential. See, I should have been a cartoon writer in the 90s.
Damn,
That's
Kong's
my
got
calling.
a fucking mad six-pack.
You know, he doesn't have any of that gorilla fat going on here, does he?
No. This is see, every character in this is she's way too overdramatic. She's always leaping and jumping around. Oh. We're about to get our first fucking, song. Oh, no. See, this is so contrived. So they just have to talk to each other for 2 seconds, but they're just going to force each other into these weird character moments just to fucking into conflict with each other, like for no reason. Like just because this is a movie and there should be more interpersonal conflict, like they think that that's necessary. Like they don't really do this in the show. Like they kind of get into more realistic kind of bickering as opposed to like we're having a fight, you know?
There's this weird idea in terms of kids movies and like animated movies, and it comes from Disney because Disney's popular. Everybody thinks they have to be like Disney.
The viewing globe.
Yeah, everybody thinks they have to be like Disney when they do an animated movie, and so every fucking time there's an animated movie, they think they got to put songs in it for some fucking reason, even if it's a fucking sequel or prequel or in between cool of a perfectly serious action show. You know, they still think they gotta. I don't like it.
So aside from the neck, what do you think of Kong's design overall?
It's a pretty decent cartoon rendering of a gorilla. I just think the neck is weird. He ain't got nothing on my boy Magilla, but he's all right.
Where is Jason's grandma? So Jason's grandma is the one who made Kong, and she's nowhere to be seen. She doesn't die in the show. She's fine at the end. I don't know where she is.
Is she in the movie at all?
I don't think so.
Maybe they couldn't get the voice actress back and then just decided not to address it.
We were only in Kong's cave for a second, though, and that's where she lives, and I don't think we're going to go back there. I think from now on, we're going to be on Skull Island briefly until we go to Atlantis. So basically, Jason and the shaman are both pulling Kong in different directions. He wants him to go help the animals, and the shaman wants him to go fucking do something else. I don't really understand what her deal is. Oh, God, you see...
Oh, no. It's musical.
This is
it's the bad...
awful animation. It's also going to go on for a long time.
God, yeah, this style of animation is fine for, like, dialogue and, like, quick cuts, not lingering shots of people singing. It doesn't work.
Yeah, look at Kong. Like, look at Kong's face in this. I don't like the way his face is drawn.
I feel like he's expressing what I'm feeling. It's like, the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is no good, dude. This is the worst. When I was a kid, I was so astonished by this. I didn't even understand it. It blew me away.
Do you think this movie is even supposed to be like directly in continuity with the show, or do you think it's like a DBZ movie?
I don't even think it matters. It's weird though because they really delve into the mythos. So I guess
I think it might be like a DBZ movie, dude, where it's like, it's the universe of the show, but it didn't actually happen.
There is nothing in the show. Oh, well, actually, there is. There's another movie, but the movie is almost like a weird reboot where it seems to ignore like a lot of the show later on, but it has the villains of the show and it's got a lot more direct tie-ins.
Is that the other one that we're going to be watching?
Yes, Kong: Return to the Jungle.
Did that come out after this?
2008.
Wow. Why?
Yeah.
That seems weird.
They really held on to those rights, dude.
Like, was anybody even watching this channel that remembered the show from at that point? Like,
I guess it was popular enough, but I'm telling you, I think what happened was the people who had the rights to the show had the rights to make more stuff in it if they wanted to, and when there was Kong stuff happening, they just decided to. I don't know why 2008 though. That's weird.
this isn't even an interesting sequence. Like, when
It's
Disney does
going. Like, Jesus.
See, they're trying to be Disney, but when Disney does this, there's like, there's like a musical number, like things are dancing and like chandeliers are doing, there's like a fucking like candlestick dancing on a table. This is just two people singing at an animal who's so confused.
They could just, but in the time that they're taking to sing, he could have done both tasks by now. I love how they're both just like fucking staring at him, just like, what the fuck?
Look how awkward this whole situation is.
It's really quite terrible, isn't it? And nobody notices the giant fucking War of the Worlds tripod in the background.
Even the fucking telescope eye from War of the Worlds is staring at all those going on. Like, what the fuck?
Oh no, the Atlanteans they're going to be guilty of some fucking singing too.
Are they at least better at it than these guys are? Jesus.
No. See, they actually got the real fucking voice actors to do the fucking singing, and it's no good.
That song there was nothing to it either. Like, there was no tempo shifts, there was no movement to it, you know what I mean? It was just boring.
They clearly didn't do it because they had good music to make. They clearly did it because they thought it would fucking make the movie sell better. I don't know why. Ooh, wow, she's a bitch. I don't like her. She's fucking taking digs at him because he's unsure of how he wants to proceed. He's feeling, I think, fairly fucking unsure of himself because he thinks the fucking world is coming to an end. And she's just like, you're not even the real King Kong, so fuck you.
Is fucking Yogi, is he a fucking regular fixture of the show, or is there just a bear?
No, he's just a sidekick in this.
They're like, hey, we're doing a movie, let's put a bear in it. The last people who thought that were Son of Kong, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, no, definitely, this did not turn out well. See, if you're gonna do the Son of Kong, this is the way to do it. I hate this movie already. See, it's a fucking it's an episode of the show pretending it's more than that.
At least it had the decency to only be an hour long.
Oh, whoa. I forgot about
Hedera?
this.
No, not Hedera.
Okay, so I'll just explain this now just so you have context for what we're seeing. They're just like, Kong, you're the king of Atlantis. Come reclaim your throne.
Why are the Atlanteans animals? And
I don't know. But the
What kind of-
idea, I think the idea is that they are dinosaur people, and that they are the civilization that Kong Island is a remnant of.
Oh, it's dinosaur. Okay, so that's what that fat fucker down there is supposed to be. He looks like a fucking like bear, but with like a horn on his nose, or like an orangutan with a horn on his nose. It's weird.
Yeah, that eclipse means something, I think. This is so bad. I mean, it's just it's so poorly animated and just. See, none of this had to happen if you all just acted like rational human beings.
I long for the days of Dragon Ball Super Episode 5.
I mean, this looks better than that, I think.
I think there were moments in that looked worse than anything in this, but at least like there was movement to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Momentum. You know.
At least I was enjoying it. There are so many animals in this. There's too many animals.
Right. So the saber-tooth tiger, is that a normal part of the show?
He is a regular fixture in the show. He is actually so the whole like cybernetic fucking connection with the monster thing. That's also how you get the villains of the show. So humans combine with animals and they become like giant monsters, which doesn't make any sense because it's when a human combines with Kong doesn't become a Kong human hybrid. But that's what happens every other time.
Imagine if when they fused together, if Kong became like more of an upright, like 76 looking Kong. Like that would be fucking awesome.
Maybe they think that's what they did, but it doesn't really come off that way. But the villain of the show, who's not in this movie, does it to that tiger and turns into this really cool looking upright tiger monster.
Mm-hmm. Is somebody going to fuse with that bear? Is the fat dude going to turn into a half man, half bear?
I don't think so. But the idea is that I think the original Kong turned on Atlantis because they were a bunch of dickheads. See, this whole idea of Kong ruling an ancient city practically like that is bullshit. How does he run a city?
Yeah, he's a fucking animal. It's not like he's fucking King Louis from the Jungle Book.
Well, he seems to be able to understand English, though, clearly, right? I mean, he's nodding and shit as people are talking.
But what ancient city was like, you know who we need for a king? A fucking giant monkey.
Yeah, because like the whole King Kong thing is more of a metaphor.
Right, exactly.
Like he's the Lord of Skull Island. Like he's not an actual ruler of a kingdom. Like he can't actually do that.
I don't know if I buy an ancient civilization deciding that a giant monkey should be their king. I don't know, though. Maybe. I've seen crazier elections.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. There was a fucking dog elected for mayor recently.
Hell, the king of the world was a dog in Dragon Ball.
That's true. Hell, Harambe got a whole bunch of votes. Oh my god, this movie is taking so long to do anything interesting. I don't understand why Kong goes along with this. If he's so unsure about saving animals or fucking saving the world from the end of the world, from like the apocalypse, why is he all of a sudden so sure? Like, oh, I'll go rule an ancient city. Sure.
Is this whole island a giant bubbling tar pit all the time? Is that a normal thing?
This is part of the apocalypse.
Okay, I was about to say, did they do like a 76 thing with this island where there's just like pools of oil all over the place?
No. This island is more like... It's probably closest to the Skull Island version we're going to get than anything else.
Yeah, because it's the foliage isn't dense enough for it to be like 33. The terrain isn't crazy enough for it to be like 05.
There's dinosaurs, though, like 33, and it's not like 76. So I think it's most like Skull Island.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll find out more when we see Skull Island, but so far, yeah, I guess. Except that doesn't have dinosaurs. It just has big fucking animals.
Did you see the fucking shot of the bear a second ago? It looked completely different.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. It looked like a Berenstain bear for a second.
Yeah, it was like this weird down angle on the bear, and it just like looking up at its head, and it just had a completely different face. Oh my god, how many times is she gonna blame him?
Please don't sing at each other.
Oh good, the earthquake interrupted them before they could break out into song again.
Right? He's like, we've got earthquake.
We've got
Don't stare directly at the solar eclipse.
Won't you come?
Those idiots were staring directly at a solar eclipse. Don't they know you're not supposed to do that? You get blinded that way.
They didn't have a fucking shoebox, and they weren't looking through a pinhole.
Uncultured swine. So the original Kong in this universe, same deal as in the movies. He got taken to New York and climbed the Empire State Building, got shot down, all that shit.
Yep.
So that Kong got shot down by biplanes, but his clone is fighting Atlantean monsters and fucking bullshit psychic link monsters and evil snake women. Okay.
He survives a direct hit from a god at one point.
I buy it, I guess. Kind of a similar conceit to the 98 cartoon, though, where it's like, oh, the first one got taken out by a few missiles, and now this one's fighting aliens. Yep. Why not?
And surviving direct hits from lasers. Although, you gotta admit, Zilla Jr. does get pretty fucked up in that show. Including in the one where he fights aliens. That's true.
He doesn't die, though, as you would expect him to, based on the movie.
He gets pretty fucking close. They think he's dead.
Well, I gotta say, you gotta give that show some credit. Cyberzilla was an amazing.
I'll tell you right now, Monster Wars is the best thing that show ever did. I will stand by and defend that as quality television.
That show beat Toho to the whole. The idea of Cyberzilla is essentially what Kiryu was later.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know if Toho took direct inspiration from that or not, but they got their asses beaten to that.
Yeah, no, one. I would say so, maybe. If anything, Monster Wars is a little bit like Final Wars, but it's also destroy all monsters. That's their common inspiration.
Monster Wars is great. I also love that two-parter where they go to the future. Or no, that wasn't even a two-parter, was it? It should have been a two-parter, where they go to the future.
That's a one-parter. Yeah, that is a great episode. That's another one where Godzilla doesn't really have much to do in it until the end.
I always thought that should have been a two-parter because I wanted to spend more time in the future than we got to.
Why didn't they bring Zilla into the future with them?
Good fucking question. You know what my favorite individual episode, though, is?
What?
The fucking one where they go to Japan.
Oh, yeah, where they fight Robo Yeti and the Big Snake.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
That is an awesome episode. Well, because in that, they're like, Gojira, and it's Godzilla lady.
That's the episode where, the makers of that show were like, hey, you guys, we know the movie wasn't great, but we like the Japanese Godzilla, and we're going to homage it a little bit here. And I'm like,
is a hero in this, and usually likes to protect people. Why doesn't he protect them, even if he thinks they're bad? And if he thinks they're bad, why doesn't he fucking forget about them? How far are we into this? 23 minutes in. It feels like we're an hour.
Also, the way the snake person moves is very unconvincing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're the rebels.
He looks like he should be like a slug person, because he's just sticking to the sides of things instead of actually coiling. Rebels?
I think that they're the people who were the original worshippers of Kong, and that's where he came from.
So these guys are Atlanteans as well.
They're all from the continent of Atlantis. They're all just different races.
You're a member of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
So listen, can we all just talk about the fact that you think the monkey knows English? Wow, good. Good job, Rebels.
He clearly seems to, but why are they aware of that?
Yeah, he seems to know English. I'm just saying, I guess they would know, oh, Kong knows how to speak English. Because, I mean, they've all had experience with the old Kong. Now, you see, I don't know if the Kong that I know from this version of the backstory is the one that they're talking about, or if they're talking about the one, or if it's like an ancient one, and the one that was the one that this is a clone of, like, is like the descendant of that. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I do like that they distinguish, like, it's mammals versus reptiles. I'm sorry, did they just blow up that log with bows and arrows?
Yeah. Maybe they had an explosive arrow.
Hey guys, look, it's the Slee Stacks. They're moving quicker these days, though. They're not just going.
If they had an explosive arrow, though, that's something they should have. So why is that one rebel just randomly Satan? Like, did you see his tail?
There was one that was like a fox. Looked like one of the dog people from Dragon Ball Super. I like how mean Kong is. Oh no, I've been fucking grazed. Wow.
Oh no, I got shot by an axe laser, and now my werewolf friend is down a canyon.
Yeah, that dude is literally a werewolf. Wow. He's got big shoulders, too. There's really not much to talk about in this movie, is there?
No. How far are we in? Oh god.
I told you, we're not even a half hour in. We've still got like 45 minutes left.
No, we don't. Once we get to a half hour, we only have 38 minutes left.
Oh, well, alright. Well, we have 41 minutes left. It's fine. Our characters have just woken up in Atlantis. We have not even been introduced to the fucking conflict yet.
So they got sucked into a tar pit and now they're in Atlantis? Is that how that works?
Yep. Because it's under Kong Island.
So Atlantis, this is not under the sea, it's under the ground.
I think it's both. Oh shit, she's just a regular person, okay.
How can it be under the sea if they're not, like, drowning right now?
Isn't that always the question with Atlantis?
Under the sea? Well, yeah.
So you're really going to ask Kong, King of Atlantis, to answer those long-time questions?
Well, this is why the idea behind Atlantis was always supposed to be that they were, like, super technologically advanced, even though they were an ancient culture. When you make them all,
I think
like...
that chick is his daughter, and I don't know how that works.
Hmm.
The new Kong may be young, but I am a really shit shaman who just likes to blame other people for my problems.
Like, one of these rebels literally has a devil tail and then hooves for feet. The one with the pointy elf ears and the fucking
that's so
beard.
Weird. One of them is literally just a dwarf. This is like a weird mishmash of Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, and fucking whole bunch of other bullshit. This is just weird.
Also, did you look at the leader of this rebels, like, abs? They look weird. I don't know.
I wasn't paying close attention to them, I'll be honest. She looks like she could be a hot chick or a version of Franklin Richards from the Fantastic Four or Johnny Storm. She looks like she could be a girl or a boy at any moment.
She looks like Tay Leone from Jurassic Park 3.
Is that person gender fluid?
With a spear.
Kong looks so disconcerted in every shot in this movie, just like,
I'm surprised the 90s weren't like, hey, you know what, we need a Jurassic Park animated series.
Oh, look, there's fucking his wife. Isn't he lucky?
Who's fucking his wife?
The snake is his wife.
Oh. Oh, yes.
Ain't he lucky?
Would you fuck that snake, Bill?
Do I get to be King of Atlantis?
Yeah, but it's like a condition. You get to be king of Atlantis, but you have to fuck the snake.
Yeah, sure. Wait, the male snake or the chick snake? Because Kong's getting the chick snake. As long as it's that, I'm in. As if it matters.
I mean, yeah, either one's gonna have a cloaca. So
Good. Well, she's got boobs, so maybe she's got more human-based features.
I think it's like a mermaid, woman up top and
She
snake
doesn't even
down
have,
below.
no, but she doesn't even have, oh yeah, she does have a tail. I do like this idea of mammal people and reptile people.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I just wish it wasn't in this fucking trash context. This does look very Star Warsy, though.
It's the problem with the whole mermaid idea. You can't fuck a fish, but you don't want to look a fish in the face while you're fucking a woman either.
Right.
So no matter which way you go.
You don't want to look a fish in the face when you're fucking a woman. Certainly not.
I mean, I guess you could get a handy or a blowy from a mermaid, or you could titty fuck her. But other than that,
Or a fish.
Or a fish. Yeah.
Either or, same difference.
Fin job. You get a fin job.
Is this better than what you've seen of the Rankin Bass King Kong cartoon?
Oh, I can't believe this movie is so boring that we just came up with fin job. Yes, only in that there's a halfway coherent story that I can kind of pay attention to.
In this?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way,
I
this movie is about to take a fucking turn.
I get the ideas that are going on here, and so far there's only been one song, so hopefully
that's
there won't
about
be...
to change.
Oh no. The lightning bug people are about to break into song?
They're doing it now. See, they're like super fucking cartoony characters. Oh my god, this is such a long scene.
Be our guest, be our guest.
That's literally what this scene is, pretty much.
Are they dressing him or wrapping him like a fucking Christmas tree?
Both.
Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, Tannenbaum.
This is better than the other song, but the fact that it's still in here is... What are you doing?
It is better than the other song simply because, from what I can tell, there is a melody going on.
That's true. But at the same time, it still has that awkward feeling of like nobody wants to be listening to this, right? Like look at Kong's face, that like nobody's into this.
Somebody's got to give him a giant-ass crown, like in 76. Give him the full Petrox treatment.
I always thought that, like, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. Why they would turn this into a musical, I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah. Is the idea for Kong to, like, serve as a figurehead to, like, satisfy the rebels?
I forget why exactly they need him. I don't know if they've mentioned it yet, but they need him to do something, obviously. They're trying to make this sound grand and epic, and they just keep jumping back and forth. See, clearly the people singing have no energy, right? Like, they're not into this.
If they're trying to make the song sound epic, they need more musical accompaniment. Because the vocals sure as hell aren't doing it.
As opposed to just wind chimes.
Yeah, you look at a Disney musical number. Not to keep comparing this to Disney musical numbers, but what the fuck else am I going to do? There's like wall-to-wall, like orchestral shit going on,
But it's not good. Like, it's clearly, like, done, like, on a fucking keyboard.
Even other movies that are non-Disney have pulled this shit off better,
Yeah.
Like fucking Anastasia and shit. Like, it can be done.
That was a theatrical release, though.
True, Dad. Also, it's like, not enough people remember that movie or talk about it.
Dude, they're making a musical King Kong direct-to-video feature the same year Peter Jackson's movie came out. They're not fucking, they're not doing that shit.
I just don't even understand why they thought they needed songs. I mean, I get it. I know there's this idea that like
Filler,
musical
I guess.
kids.
I mean, it's not. It's barely over an hour, so I mean, I guess they needed it to fill the time.
Maybe. And I know there's this idea that like kids animated movies you put songs in them, but there have been very popular exceptions to that rule. Fucking look at the Iron Giant. The Iron Giant didn't need musical numbers. It had a soundtrack and like there were like jukeboxy
Yeah.
things going on, but there was no musical numbers. Disney used to do this animated shit with all their movies too. Remember, Little Mermaid had a show, Aladdin had a show, Timon and Pumbaa had a show.
That's right. That was at the same time as this. Yeah.
There was the
How did he
Hercules
get tied
show.
up?
I don't even know.
Is Kong done for some reason? Why did Kong turn on them? What happened?
I don't know. I think the most recent one they did was they actually had a show for the Emperor's New Groove. It was fucking awful.
Yeah, the Emperor's New School. We talked about it on SOS ones, yeah.
We did?
Yeah.
Shit. Why?
I don't know, but I think that's better than this is. At least stuff happens in that show. Oh, her name is Reptilla. Isn't that nice? They literally took the word reptile and put an A at the end of it.
How very creative.
Oh, good. Oh, so the Kong Islanders banished the fucking reptile people from the Earth, I suppose? And that's why Atlantis is in the tar? Yeah, he looks really thrilled to be here, lady. Yeah, why hasn't he fucking been like, yeah, fuck this? Like, he could kill everybody in that room if he wanted to. I don't understand why he's so like, oh, I don't know what I should do. I'm so conflicted. I don't know why Kong is so fucking insecure in this version.
I think the idea is, I don't think they did a good enough job of establishing it and setting it up, but this is what I think the idea is. He was all salty and upset because the fucking bitch at the beginning of the movie was like, "You're not the real Kong." And then along come these fucking reptile people, and they're all like, "Oh, Kong, you're the fucking king, bro! Like, come with us and be fucking king of Atlantis and shit." And he's like, "Yeah, now I'm finally getting some respect." He's got that Rodney Dangerfield thing going on. And then fucking he runs into the rebels, and one of them gets mad at him and is like, "Ah, you're not the real Kong." So like, that's what I think the idea is. He's pissed at everybody for like comparing him to the real Kong, and the fucking Atlanteans are like, "Be our king." Like, I think that's supposed to be the idea, but it's just not done very well.
Oh boy, his
What
brother rejected him. D.
No, good.
Yeah, that was interesting. Kong didn't want to merge with Jason in that moment. See, it's almost like a weird when like they let a dog pick whose owner it's gonna be. Like it walks towards the person who gets chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like why is this? Why does everything live and die by this? Again, I don't really get why Kong is so fucking sad. I don't know why he's even entertaining this notion. Even if he's salty that they compared him disfavorably to the original King Kong, like he should just be like, fuck that, I'm gonna go sit by myself until they realize that they fucking, they need me, so fuck them. Oh, we're about to get our third and I believe final song.
I think that's supposed to be the
final
idea.
one anyway.
I think he's tired of being compared to the real Kong, and then along comes Snake Dude and he's like, "Yeah, bro, come be our king."
I get it. He's tantalized and tempted by people who respect him as opposed to people who don't, but I don't know. I feel like they're playing him up as smarter and dumber than whatever the scene requires.
Yeah, I think that's what the idea is supposed to be, and if they had executed it better, it could have worked. But I just don't think they executed it very well.
Yeah, they're unsure of what exactly they're making here.
I find Kong's motivations vague and unconvincing,
and I find this movie's sense of self vague and unconvincing.
Mm.
It has no idea what it is, if it wants to be this generic action cartoon or if it wants to be a weird, feely musical. The fucking action in this is terrible. The character designs aren't bad, though.
Earlier, I misread the title of this movie for a split second, and I thought I read Kong, King of Atlanta. Now I kind of want a
Donald
movie where
Glover is King Kong.
A movie where fucking King Kong just goes south, eats a bunch of fried chicken and shit. Fucking great. Kong, King of Atlanta.
Oh my god, this bear is still around? What is this bear even doing?
Coming this summer, the biggest monkey Yo Poach has ever seen. Kong, King of Atlanta.
Alright, so here's a mine? So they're going to put him to work doing something.
Welcome to the Atlantean salt mines. Here we harness the saltiness of King Kong
This is very Temple of Doom.
Right, except it doesn't have that great fucking John Williams music.
No, it's certainly missing that. It's got more of a generic boom, boom, boom.
Temple of Doom has some of my favorite John Williams moments from the Indiana Jones movies. I love the fucking
oh yeah, that's awesome. That's an awesome part of that score. Too bad we didn't have that in this. I love how so far they've just been allowed to walk around and do and say whatever they want.
You think if somebody edited this movie and put in a decent score, it would elevate it a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, you're still going to have the musical moments, though, unless you cut them out, too. I guess you could. They're not important to anything. That's kind of the problem.
I don't know. The first musical moment was there to set up the sort of, situation that leads to her saying, he's not the real Kong. So maybe it is kind of. Yeah, they've built them in such a way that I don't even know if you could cut them. They're just so boring.
That's the thing, dude. This movie is fucking painfully boring. I should have talked about this before. So the last time we watched was King Kong Lives, obviously, which is my least favorite live-action King Kong film. I know yours is Son of Kong. I like Son of Kong quite a bit more than King Kong Lives. At the very least, I just think it's less boring. It's more imaginative. This takes the cake for the most boring Kong thing we've watched so far, though. Wow. Because I feel like I'm watching a boring Saturday morning cartoon with, no sense of unique personality.
Yeah, I would rather rewatch King Kong Lives 5 more times, really. Because, at least that was an entertaining conversation. There was enough in that movie that we could, talk about and be like, hey, look at this. Isn't this neat or fucked up or whatever?
I still got pretty bored during that one, too, though.
Yeah, but in this movie, it's just there's nothing to talk about. It's ugh. Reptilla, fucking Mammoth Stampede.
Right. The animation keeps jumping back and forth between quality. This strikes me as a super thing where they fucking shipped it out to a bunch of different animators to be like, get it done on time.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think this one has any semblance of a celebrity voice cast. Unless maybe fucking Dudley Do-Right did the fucking Roars for Kong or whatever. I don't know.
No.
I didn't do any research. I should have found out before I said that. Because now if it's not true, I'm going to feel like a real idiot.
I doubt this has any sort of celebrity cast. That applies to big budget Hollywood children's animated films. This is low budget television feature to cash in on a movie that was coming out at the time. I think they got the cast from the show back, and after that they were like, all right, we're good. Get a few other people in there to fill in the new characters. What?
The coronation is about to begin, D. That means something to somebody. Yeah, he looks really thrilled to be getting coronated.
You didn't want to wear the fucking royal robe, Jesus. It's like you're shaking keys at Mighty Joe Young. Stop it.
Are they comparing him to his dad again? I missed something.
It's a really bad idea.
Oh, fuck.
What's a bad idea? Another musical
This song.
number, please don't. Is this the worst?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I can answer that. Relatively speaking, yes. But that's relatively speaking.
I feel like you take Disney's Atlantis and then remove all of the budget and throw in a big monkey and you get this movie. Actually a really good Disney movie that doesn't get mentioned a lot, you know? You remember Atlantis?
Yeah, totally. That's definitely a better Atlantis movie than this is.
It has that fucking great sequence when, like, the chick, the one that looks like Storm, like, starts glowing blue or whatever the fuck is going on in that scene. That is a really well animated scene.
Yeah, I remember that was in the trailer, and that captured my imagination when I was a kid, before I even saw the movie. Definitely.
I saw that trailer, and I was like, I gotta see this movie.
Are they falling in love, or are they just like... See, this is so bad. They're like hallucinating now about stuff that hasn't happened.
This movie would be a whole lot better if they just, like, made this a jukebox musical and just took, like, a regular old fucking, like, song and plugged into the scene. Imagine this fucking scene, but it's like the heat of the moment.
What the fuck? What is this, like Tarzan? So, D...
No, I think this is supposed to be like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah, exactly. D, would you ever watch the show based on watching this movie?
Based on watching this movie, no. But based on my vague memories of it and what you've told me about it, maybe at some point. This movie, however, not a good endorsement.
He should be dead. Wait. Up! He got saved by last-minute gorilla. I feel like 90% of this movie is people having weird hallucinations that didn't happen.
I feel like this entire movie is a weird hallucination that didn't happen.
If only we were so fucking lucky. Man, we really turned on this one. I didn't give this movie the fucking time of day. I came on and I was like, yep, it was shit when I was a kid, and it's probably shit now. And you know what? I was fucking right.
I would forgive it a little bit if, like, at the end of the movie, Kong just, like, woke up from a dream and was like, that was fucking weird.
But man, Dean, nothing has happened, right?
No, not really. Well, I mean, story has been going on, but there's been no action or anything.
No fights, nothing. I don't think he fights anything.
What?
I don't think he does. It's weird. He always fought something in the show. I don't think he fights something in this, though.
Yeah, what they should have done is Reptila should have had some, like, big fucking snake monster or something, and then had him fight it.
That would have been a cool reference to 33. That would the animation gets The animation
and also
gets like creepy. This is so terrible. Like it's trying to be this like fucking emotional Disney thing, but it just does not have the budget or the finesse to do it.
Please, movie, at this point, the only thing you can do to make this better is to just have them fuck. Like, then at least there'll be something interesting going on.
They just sat there and watched that whole thing. They were just in awe.
That's the second time it's happened. The big dude sitting there thinking, wow, they never used to break into musical performances before, but now twice in one day, I don't know what's going on.
Kong's being fucking controlled with kryptonite. Oh, I see. So the idea is that they're going to put the big crown on him to control him so they can use him for shit, I guess. It looks like Mojo Jojo's helmet.
It does. This worked out so well for Doctor Who.
How much longer is left? 18 minutes. Okay, we can make it. We can do this.
If they were
Oh
just going
my
to put
god! What are these monstrosities?
if they were just going to attach a mind control device to his head, I think they could have done it a little easier than this, right?
She's like a fucking female Jabba the Hutt. Did you see some of those people down there in that crowd? Look at these fucking monsters.
They don't even look like reptiles. They look like fucking germs from Osmosis Jones.
They do. They look like weird abstract cartoon people. They look like people from Doug.
Oh, Doug. Doug. Remember Doug the movie? Where it was actually like a monster movie, but with Doug?
This is definitely worse than that.
It was like E.T. meets the creature from the Black Lagoon, and also it was Doug.
Yeah, just like this movie. No. I remember in the show, the big guy was obsessed with pineapple pizza, and that has interesting historical perspective now.
Are they going to remember to save the saber-toothed tiger from its mind control and enslavement?
I don't know. Maybe. if it's lucky.
What if the movie just forgets to go back to that? And at the end, it's just like, guys?
Yeah, that would be fun.
We escaped Atlantis, but we left
This is
Diego
literally
behind.
Temple of Doom.
That was the worst animated kick I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh god, these reptile people are worse than stormtroopers.
For literally doing nothing, just for looking at it.
If he fuses with Kong and then they put the helmet on, would she then be able to control both of them?
Theoretically. Unless Jason, I guess, can overcome the mind control. See, look at Kong's dumb suit.
Kind of like the gauntlets, but the rest of it's ugh.
I don't mind the crest.
It would look cool if, like, he during the course of the show, he like found some like mystical gauntlets that like increased his strength or some shit. But as part of like this weird royal, where are the gauntlets?
They disappeared. They're back.
Oh, they're back. My God, they are magic.
Oh man, we lost our shit. Oh man, that was a terrible shot on the fucking snake guy's face. I hate the animation in this. It jumps all. See, it's everybody's just too expressive or not expressive enough.
See, as a Who Framed Roger Rabbit fan, I know exactly what happened here. Clearly, they drew Kong's gauntlets with Acme's disappearing, reappearing ink. Why does his crown look like fucking Jafar's hat? It's all round. It's all round. It's got like this little red feathery thing on the front of it.
What's to even say here? I mean, it's just...
It's
really typical, but it's just poorly animated and just... Again, I feel like I'm watching a shit Saturday morning cartoon.
Why did the rebellion wait so long to do this shit?
I guess now that Kong is being fucked with, they have the motivation.
It kind of feels like when you watch Flash Gordon, and at the end when all the other people finally rebel against Ming and they actually win, when you watch how easily they win the battle, you think, they could have done this a long time ago.
Oh yeah, the bear's mom is mind control. I forgot about that.
This is a reference to Son of Kong, maybe.
Maybe. I think it's more a reference to earlier in the movie. So, all right, Kong just has to go for the headband. That's great. We're all on the same page now. How much longer is left in this?
Transformed fucking Yogi Bear into fucking the bear from the end of The Hound and the Fox and the Hound. Like, vicious.
Savage. Nothing really seems to want to kill anything else in this.
Why isn't she swiping at them? She's just standing over them.
She's like, rawr. She's like kind of swatting at them very slowly and not in any way getting close. Why is it taking them so long to put the fucking crown on his head? Just drop it.
Rawr, see, rawr.
These guys are fucking idiots, right? I mean, everybody in this movie is a fucking idiot, but the reptiles in particular are just... They don't call them reptiles. They don't call them cold-blooded for nothing. There's Kong still fucking homeless guy throwing up in the corner. This feels more like a video game now than a fucking movie. Feels like we're like, we're breaking into the final boss's fucking headquarters, and now we're storming the castle, and eventually you'll get to have a one-on-one encounter.
Well, the mama bear is still mind-controlled. What the fuck? She just ran away. Why didn't anybody do something about the fucking headband?
Did she just say she's going to use her final snake? I'm reluctant to find out what that is.
No, she called him a spineless snake.
Oh. Well, I mean, he's standing pretty erect, lady. He's probably got a spine.
Yeah, snake have very developed
filled with
vertebrae.
disinformation.
Snake have to have very developed vertebrae. It's practically the only thing they have.
So did they sabotage the fucking islands that way he couldn't survive on it anymore? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, he is fucking like...
I didn't know he had a rattle.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. But he's way bigger in this shot than he was earlier in the movie. What the fuck?
They all look gigantic compared to the humans, just for scale, I guess. It's pretty stupid. Oh, yeah, you've never seen this movie, so you didn't know about that.
Did you see that fucking shot?
I saw that fucking shot.
That fucking Looney Tunes-esque fucking Daffy Duck thing.
That Team Rocket-esque, we're blasting off again!
Okay.
I love the smile that Kong had afterwards. I forgot about that, so I had no reaction to that, because I was like, I remember watching this as a kid and seeing that, but yeah, you were like, oh my god.
Finally, something I genuinely liked in this movie.
See, this is our big action set piece. What do you think? You're like, oh no. Doesn't work as a big monster set piece, right?
You know what bothers me about this? It's like they're trying to draw things pseudo-realistically, but nothing has any texture.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true. They don't have the money to detail it right. This is definitely Darth Vader.
A true Roth.
Who said that? Oh, well, okay. This is so poorly cut. It's like they don't cut to who's talking, and it's hard to tell who's who and who's saying what when. You want to do the right... Oh, shit, okay. Never mind. He does fight something in this, and it's actually... That's pretty cool.
He fights fucking Genghis Rex.
What do you think of that? I think that's cool. Pretty cool.
It's like it's a T-Rex fight, but they're all decked out in like gladiator uniforms. It's neat. It literally looks like Kong's fighting Genghis Rex from fucking Dino Saucers.
Maybe we didn't need two.
No, that might be a bit much.
Or maybe we did. Maybe because they have experience with Kong, they knew that would be needed.
You think this is the closest thing in this universe to Gaw?
I guess, yeah.
It's like I think the head skull crawler in Kong Skull Island is going to kind of be the closest thing we get to Gaw.
Yeah, definitely.
Only it's got a better name because let's be honest, Gaw's a little bare bones, don't you think?
I would have to agree.
I don't even remember what the skull crawler's name was, but the fact that okay, see, it's a name, so
yeah, no, I mean it's longer. It's more of a monster name.
It also sounds kind of like something that natives would come up with, you know, kind of like.
Did you see how fucking Kong just picked up Mjolnir?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a name that I can imagine indigenous people of an island coming up with, you know, like fucking Umbun or Mahershala.
Oh, there's more. Great.
Oh, good.
See, now this has gone on too long. Now I don't care anymore.
Why didn't she send all 5 of them at the beginning then?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I
Get
think they would have
away from
easily.
me. They're fucking beating him down. They're curb stomping him.
I
I
like,
always love it when the humans just watch on and stuff like this and just watch as their monster pals get beaten to shreds.
yeah, I feel like Kong would have been easily overpowered and just completely Rodney King'd if she had sent all 5 of them at him at once. What is happening anyway? She's like, this cannot be happening. I'm not even sure what this is.
Okay, he just got bigger. That's what happens when they get mad when they're together. They get stronger and bigger. It's kind of bullshit, but whatever.
Okay.
Everybody just got real excited, though, because, like, oh, they're so strong. It's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Oh, boy. This is really, It's so bizarre. This movie feels like it's stretching for time so much, but it feels so long.
It's so short, though.
I know, it's
I
crazy.
don't see how something can be so short and
Did
yet
this feel long
longer.
to you? See, I've seen this before. I know all the beats. Did it feel long to you?
Yeah, like intellectually, I know this is a pretty short movie, but it felt longer than even watching King Kong Lives did. Like, it just felt like it was just going on and on.
Because nothing happened. Okay, so she had all of them mind controlled. See, her fucking lackey here was under mind control.
I guess the whole city was? How did she ever manage that?
What? Sorry for the radio silence there. The dead air. But I was just watching the movie and just going like, what's going on? So
There's some kind of a sundial that I think is supposed to reverse the whole Atlantis rising up from the deep
I
thing.
think it's supposed to affect the eclipse. It's just there's this movie is just so by the numbers in terms of just focusing intensely on these plot contrivances they set up.
Wouldn't it be cooler if Atlantis and Skull Island just remained conjoined now and like they had to adjust to a new status quo as living
That would
together?
be more
in some
interesting, but nope, everything's got to go back to normal so that way we can make another movie in this franchise.
You could make another movie in the franchise if never mind. Fuck it.
You're like, it doesn't matter, I don't care. See, this is what Kong was so insecure about doing earlier. This is what he had to like listen to that song to try and figure out if he should do.
What? Really?
Yeah, he had to push this
This is
fucking...
what she wanted.
That's all she wanted him to do. If he would have shown up to work on time, it wouldn't have been a problem. If he wouldn't have gone AWOL in Atlantis, it would have been solved by now and everybody could have gone home and had cocktails. But no! Kong, you just had to fucking be difficult.
Look how quickly Atlantis sinks back into the ground. Jesus, took a whole hour movie to like raise up from the depths, and now it's just like, no.
Well, at least we did it. And good, look at all the dying dinosaurs.
And then all the Atlanteans died. Littlefoot, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is this like The Land Before Time? Like, is this the same company that made The Land Before Time? I mean, could be.
Is this movie about to end the same way Son of Kong did? Jesus.
With The Land Before Time?
Yeah.
There have been newer fucking Land Before Time movies recently. I looked it up at one point. They all sound really bad.
There have been so many. The last one I remember was like something about an asteroid that fell and like these dinosaurs were after it for some fucking reason. I don't know.
Who knows?
The last one I actually watched was the one where they go to that island and they find Chomper again. I remember when that came out on VHS. That was fucking ages ago now.
Oh, this is very like Star Wars, where it's like, come with me and fucking be my wife.
I
don't know.
would, but I'm engaged to a snake man.
Ugh. There's so many just generic threads in this. It's just too much.
How are there any regular humans left when their entire breeding pool consists of snake people and like werewolves and
It's a
weird
good
demon
question.
people?
That's why she's so hot, though.
What?
Make sure it's easy.
Yes, please fall and die. Please, something interesting happen. Oh, that was a terribly edited scene. I guess it wasn't even a matter of editing. It was probably a matter of storyboarding, but it was terribly done.
I've seen a theme in that. The Venom symbiote is after them now.
Does all of this bullshit happen every time there's a solar eclipse? Because, I mean, solar eclipses, I mean, not as common as lunar eclipses, but not uncommon. Or is it just some sort of, like, bullshit prophecy? Like, there's a solar eclipse every 10,000 years, and then the fucking Atlanteans rise from the depths of hell to summon Megalon. Like, what?
Why is he saying... So what happened to the mother? They left the mother behind? The mother wasn't even dead.
How did
Wow.
bears get to this island?
Cold heart.
How the fuck did bears get to this island, Bill?
That's a good question. I mean, how did gorillas get to this island, and how did they get so big?
Maybe there were some bears in the cargo hold of the Venture, and they had to unload them so they could make room for the first Kong. And now there's an indigenous bear population on Skull Island.
To experiment on. Oh, good. We better not get another song. Come on. We're almost there. We're almost to the end. Don't do this to us now.
There's no time. So we had 3 songs in the movie. I guess if there have to be songs in the movie, 3 is a good number, you know? No more, no less. Well, I would have rather had less, but no more.
Yeah, good for him.
We all knew that already.
We all knew that at the beginning of this fucking thing. Oh, that's it.
And he's a pretty good king and like to his house and drop bombs.
Fuck you, Eric Rolls, for your character designs. So D, so this is your first exposure to the show. What'd you think?
Not first exposure, but first exposure in quite some time. I think that was horseshit.
Worse than Son of Kong?
In no uncertain terms. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't even hate Son of Kong. I just think that they spend way too long on the setup and not enough time on the island, and I think it kind of ruins that movie a little bit. But I like the movie itself. I like the ideas in it. I don't even know what to make of this.
This is definitely the worst thing we've watched so far.
Yeah, definitely. Is this worse than the Mighty Kong?
I don't know. They're so different. I guess. I think it's more boring. See, this is boring because it's just this generic 90s action cartoon movie. At least the Mighty Kong is like this weird adaptation of 33.
Right. I don't know if I should just be happy that I can now say that I've seen this, or if I should make plans to murder you in your sleep for showing it to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a nothing movie. Nothing really happens in it. Kong goes to Atlantis, almost gets mind controlled, and then doesn't. That's kind of the story. I think what you brought up before about him, feeling insecure about himself because of his comparisons to the original King Kong and him not being the real Kong. I think that's interesting and compelling. I think they do better stuff with that in the show, though. So, D, you know what? You should give the show a go because it does definitely delve into that stuff.
I'm definitely sure that was the idea. I just don't think they knew how to execute it properly.
They didn't have time and they didn't have the right stuff behind it. What'd you think of the dinosaur fight at the end?
That was decent, I guess.
It was way too quick, and the horrible animation killed all the action in this. All the weird martial arts, all the weird fucking tentacle tar and whatever.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
cannon fire and rock slides, it just all looked really awkward.
I also wish it hadn't come out of nowhere. I wish that they had set up before that she had like a bunch of like giant dinosaur warriors or something.
Yeah, that did come
Some
out of
kind of-
nowhere. I was convinced that he didn't fight anything in this, and then they pulled that out of their ass at the last minute. Thank Christ.
But the problem is when you do it that way, it comes off like, oh, they're in this just because he needs to fight something because that's what we did in the show. Like,
Which is exactly what that was. Last minute resort. Here's my end game. Monsters.
Yeah, it doesn't feel genuine at all.
No, not at all.
I think they could have come up with a better scheme besides trying to mind control him. For what purpose even? Like they never even explained what she wanted to use him for when she had him mind controlled. Was she like trying to dig for you element X or what? Like we don't know.
We don't know at all, and we'll never know because the movie is over and they'll never make another one. Oh wait, they did. We're going to watch it later today. So D, I think that's going to do it for Kong King of Atlantis, and we hope you will join us later today for Kong Return to the Jungle. And until then, I am Bill Worster, aka Zazubaar.
Would you say that Kong Return to the Jungle is decent, or am I in for another shit show?
Let's just say that today is going to be a consistent day.
Oh, good.
So, D,
I'm starting to become very happy that we couldn't find the Mighty Kong.
Well, D, in a way, we're millionaires, boys. We'll share it with all of you.